Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, Pianro. So, did everyone set up the application in their local and able to run the application? Okay, give me 1 minute of time. Okay, so before discussing further, right? So, why can't we have a theoretical discussion why we need testing first of all? Anyone knows the answer for this? Why do we do unit testing? And why do we write the JUnit test cases? Anyone? Hmm? Anyone wanted to raise their hand and wanted to speak? Please do that. It's been wrong.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, sir. Actually, when the unit testing actually used to test your modules, like when you're working with different modules. So unit testing is something like, you instead to have like when you want to test an application, so you should have a front end application and the back end application and the database. So
Okay.
so instead of having when we are working, multiple teams are working in the project. So one pod is working on the front end and another pod maybe working on the multiple modules on the server side. And a database. So database also, the database integration needs in the end, like, database team also working on the database design, table designing and all the stuff. So like instead of waiting for all these things, so unit testing is the way to test your modules. Like if I let's say I'm working on a user module. So the user module, there are different APIs. So to test those APIs, so I can even write a unit test case and test that particular APIs or modules. On the advantage of having unit testing is like, this is you can even instead manual testing, you can run this all unit test cases in one shot, so that you will get to know how many, how many of your APIs or how many of your classes working even after changes. If you are having any changes, like tomorrow, if you are changing them, so if you have a unit test cases, so you can run them in one shot and see like is there any any like it should not disturb the existing functionality. So that's how we use unit testing, sir. And also we have a Mockito where you can mock your database, like instead of having a database integration, so you can have a Mockito place and then test the unit cases with integration with the Mockito. That's okay.
So many points, good points. But what do we achieve finally with this unit testing, first of all?
Yeah, so like this is testing your modules in a like the rapid way. Like you have a, let's say you have multiple modules and multiple test cases. So you can run all of them in one single shot to check the bug-free application. Like so like I changed one module and that should not disturb the existing functionality. So in that case, I'll have to test again all the APIs like one by one.
Yeah, that is fine. That is fine, PN Rao. See, basically, we are doing all this kind of thing to achieve what?
Okay.
Anyone? Good points, PN Rao. So many good points. But when you know all these points, right? My simple question for you is, what we are going to achieve finally?
Yeah, so I think to get a bug-free application.
Right.
Yeah.
Bug-free application. Anyone else? Anyone? Yes, come on, speak up. If no one knows about unit testing, this is simple one, right? So probably you would have heard somewhere else. Why do we do testing? That's my first question for everyone. And what we will finally achieve by unit testing. Let's get it.
So means we will do unit testing because first we need to means we'll go bit by bit testing every logic whether the logic is working as expected or not, and we can test how much time means we may test how much time it is taking. So all those scenarios we will cover through unit testing, J unit testing. Means can I say means dev means can I say we through J unit testings we can achieve dev side sanity.
Okay. Somewhat satisfied. Anyone else? It's a very simple case. When you are going to say a lot of points, there has to be some reason behind this, right? So when we are doing unit testing, when we are writing JUnit test cases, when we are writing Mockito test cases, we are achieving something with that. So what is that particular thing? The software which is going to be delivered into the market with proper functionality. If anyone wants to see the software which is completely tested, we can show them the coverage and all these kind of things, right? No, we are not reducing the testing time, we are increasing the testing time. Did you get my point first? Gizer?
Yes, sir. Increasing in sense how
We need to spend a lot of time on the testing part. We
okay.
cannot ignore the testing part, right? Unless it is completely tested, we cannot say that our software is working fine with a lot of scenarios tested already with the JUnit and Mockito test cases, integration test cases, right? There's so many kinds of tests available in the market, right? So what do? We actually test our software with a lot of test cases doing the coverage and all these kind of things. And finally, we are going to deliver this software into the market, correct? So we are going to invest a huge time on this because it's not about JUnit test cases or mock test cases which will be written by the developers. Apart from this, if it is a UI-based application, then probably the Selenium people or the testing team will be having their own frameworks in order to test the application from start to end. It's an end-to-end flow, correct? Are you getting my point? Girdhar and any others?
Sir, sorry, sir. Actually, just I'm not sure why I'm facing today internet issue. I'm not getting your voice clearly, sir.
Okay.
Today
Okay, no
only.
problem. No problem, no problem. Yeah. Okay. So anyone? Teja, Indra, Mahesh, Neha. I think PN Rao has good points. So probably what are the points that he raised, right? So the points are good. But the only problem is when we say certain points, we need to summarize it, right? So hence proved, something like that. So otherwise, there is no point of raising so many points, and then probably we are not, uh, you know, see the only thing is when a interviewee meets the interviewer, let's say he's going to answer all of the questions, but he is weak in all most of the things. So it's basically decided whatever the points that you are going to say, it has to be proved from your side. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense how many points you do say to the interviewer, right? So it basically depends upon our, the criteria and the mode we are into, right? So probably whatever the points that we are going to say, it has to be proved from our side to the interviewer. Otherwise, it will not be convincing for both of you. Correct? So that's the total point. So Pemasai, what do you say about this? Pemasai has gone away. Okay. Okay. So we actually have this Mockito, right? So what's the purpose? PN Rao, any idea on this? Because you are the only person who is speaking, so that's the reason I'm asking to you. We are actually having Mockito, and we are going to write mock test cases for our services and for our controllers, right? So but we are actually mocking the database related calls so that no calls will be or no calls will be inserting the records into the database, correct? We are
Correct.
actually mocking the layers. But if you ask me truly, there is something called integration testing, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that integration testing, do you know that integration testing is purely based on the databases? Because it has to work with databases. Otherwise, integration tests will not work. Correct?
Right. Yes, sir.
So
So first we do
integration
the
test,
unit testing and then
yes.
mock testing and then integration.
But when we are using databases for the testing, is that a best practice, PN Rao?
No, sir. No, that should be a final testing before.
No, that is fine. That is fine. But what I'm asking, okay, what I'm asking is when you do a when you do integration test case, when you write integration test cases, those test cases has to interact with the real database, correct?
Correct.
So it cannot be changed. We need to use the database, correct?
Right.
So my question is, let's say you are using AWS Cloud or Google Cloud or Azure. So we need to maintain databases for the test cases also. But are we going to do that by setting up the databases on the cloud? Because it costs for each and every database that we are going to set up for each and every environment. Correct?
Correct, sir. Yes. So if you are using
But
AWS, the RDS also costs. Like if you are
yeah,
using.
that's fine. That's fine. But how do we come over this issue? Because I don't want to, I want to do integration test cases by using the database, but I don't want to pay any money for this database usage or database creations. for the integration test case especially. So what we can do for this in order to avoid creation of databases and creating databases on the AWS cloud, which will cost us from the cloud providers. So what we can do to come over this issue.
Yeah, that's where the mock testing will start.
No, I said that integration test cases has to communicate with the real databases only. We cannot mock it, right?
Okay.
Mockito test cases, JUnit test cases are a part of developer that will be written during the development phase. But once it goes to the testing team, they will write hell number of test cases, right?
Right, sir.
As a developer, we need to write integration test cases also. But those integration test cases has to communicate with the database.
Okay.
There is no point of replacing them with the Mockito test cases, because Mockito test cases are already there. They are unit test cases, we call them as.
Right.
But when we write integration test cases, it has to communicate with the real database. That will never change. So how to mitigate this issue? How to overcome this issue? Database is required, but I don't want to pay any money.
Right. So in this case, we can use in-memory databases also. Right?
Good. Exactly the same. That's the reason Spring Boot has already provided the in-memory databases, come. Okay. So that's the reason, in-memory databases are provided by the Spring Boot, actually.
Right, sir.
Okay. Yeah, H2, Derby, whatever it is. So that's the reason Spring Boot has provided developers in-memory databases so that they can use it for the integration or writing the integration test cases, where it is going to set up an in-memory database with some certain size of the database, and then probably it is not going to charge us. Got it? So we don't have to set the database in the AWS cloud or whatever the cloud that you are going to use. It doesn't bother you. Got it? So that's the reason in-memory databases are actually provided by the Spring Boot for the developers in order to write the integration test cases where it is going to execute the calls onto the database. And whenever we start the application, the records will be lost. Right? So that's the functionality of this in-memory databases. Okay? So this is one way of writing integration test cases where we can use in-memory databases. And we don't have to pay for it, and no one will be able to charge for it. Okay, it's provided by the Spring Boot itself for the developers in order to ease the development for the integration testing perspective side. Okay. So that's the total idea. Okay. So what are the different types of, test cases that we actually do? Anyone? You can type it. Guys, if someone is speaking, I will be interested. Okay. Okay. So I know that you don't have any points, but my point of concern is P.N. Rao, Giridhar, right? Sometimes Pimathai, only this persons, and also sometimes Teja, only these people are actually talking. I don't know about remaining people, what they are actually doing, why they are joining, what they are listening, what they are doing. I'm not getting any idea on that. So because interaction makes a lot of people flexible, but if you're not talking here, you'll not be you'll not be able to talk anywhere in the future, team that you are going to join in. So that's what I can say finally. You always, have to maintain a rapport with whomever you are interacting with, because that makes everyone life simple in order to get resolved their queries, whatever they have. So in real time, if you are not speaking anything, then probably you will be in, some certain, circumstances where you'll not be able to come across any kind of things that, you know, discussed from your side or from your teammates. I want everyone to speak. Okay, coming here, listening for the classes will not make any sense until unless you ask a lot of questions, because the real-time project is all is completed, and no one has any questions in that. I'm a little bit strange about it, and I don't know, what is happening behind the scenes with everyone, because I thought that everyone will ask some certain questions, and they are going to raise some concerns from their side, until unless I'm not going to receive a proper the questionnaire from your side. I'm a little bit concerned about your learnings also, because it doesn't make any sense, apart from this 3 or 4 different people. I don't know about Anup, I don't know about Basavaraj, Mahesh, Neha, Shiv, Shikumar, Siddharth, Teja, Yogesh. I don't know about these guys, because they have not interacted with me at any point of time. And when I ask them, I don't have any questions. How you can not have any questions, right? If you are asking questions on a daily basis, then probably you are learning something. Until unless you will not ask any type of concerns or questions to the person you are actually interacting with, it doesn't make any sense. Okay. Hey Teja,
Sir,
is your issue resolved?
yes, sir. It's working properly now, sir. After updating your last update, it's working. Sir.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Yeah. So happy to hear that. So how many of you know how to write a JUnit along with mock test cases? Have you written anywhere, or how it is like? Can you please raise your hands if you already know about JUnit and mock test cases? We'll pick up one of our project-based application, the real-time project that we have done, especially the restaurant service, where we do have the post and get operation, right? So we'll just test that particular 2 APIs and the services along with the Mockito. Okay, so we'll just pick up that service and we will write the test cases along with Mockito for the controller and for the service layer. Okay. But I just wanted to know, did any one of you know about this JUnit and Mockito? Have you written any sample test cases before using these 2 frameworks? Okay, you know about only JUnit. Okay, Kamasai Ramu, no. Okay. Okay, I'm okay with these 2 persons, Giridhar, Pimsai, but what about remaining people? I'm not getting any responses in the chat. Guys, if you don't wanted to learn anything from your side, you just don't join the call. That's very simple, right? Because if you are not interacting, or if you are not responding to the person you are interacting with, it doesn't make any sense until unless you join, because you just paid the fees. you're joining and listening, and after the course you will be left, right? So it doesn't make any sense for everyone. I think most of the people are lazy here. I don't know whether they are hearing me or not, or they have just switched on their laptop and then probably um, they're sleeping. I don't know about remaining people. Okay, so okay. So I have another question, right? So whenever we are going to write test cases, right, PEMA, who are these candidates? Yeah, Siddharth, PN Rao, PEMA Sai, Girdhar, right? So whenever we are writing test cases, at the end, what we are going to check finally, because we need to check the coverage also, right? We need to check the coverage, code coverage also, how much code is covered with our test cases. Have we tested each and every line properly or not, right? So is everything covered or not? So we are going to do all those kind of things from our side. So anyone knows which tools are going to be used for that in order to see the coverage? No, Siddharth. Sonar is not for code coverage. Yes, Girdhar.
So usually I haven't gone through that much deep while using JUnit test. Just for the simple purposes, just only I use it JUnit in my workspace.
Okay. Okay. So I think Siddharth and PN Rao has pinged me about Jacoco. Yes, Jacoco is one of the plugin which we can use it in our form.xml in order to see the coverage of our code. So I will also show that to you on how to do that. And also, once we are actually writing the code, right? So probably do we have any other tools apart from Jacoco in order to see what are the code violations, right? Are we following the best coding practices and the design principles? How we are going to check that the code which was written from our side is a proper code and it's not having any vulnerabilities, all these kind of things. So which tool is actually going to say that, hey, your code is safe? Yes, Girdhar, it's Sonar. Okay, so this is what we are actually going to discuss. Maybe tomorrow I will start with some sample application. Not the sample application, the restaurant application which we have written. There's a post endpoint and the get endpoint to get the restaurant, as well as the creation of restaurants, right? So probably I will pick up the restaurant service. I'll actually write some test cases for the controller and the service layer. And then finally we will just conclude that with the, the Jacoco plugin integration along with Sonar. Okay, so once we do that, we are good to go with our actual flow to actually start with the AWS cloud from day after tomorrow. From Wednesday, we are going to start with AWS cloud, but by tomorrow, I will be starting with this test cases because I just wanted to have a theoretical discussion, especially on this test cases, because when you actually go to the interview, right? So probably they will ask some questions related to, testing, why you are actually writing testing. What is unit testing? Why do we write JUnits along with Mockito? What is the purpose of Mockito? And we do have something called integration test cases also, right? So probably, so what is the use cases when you are going to use integration test cases? Do we use real databases or not? But if you are going to use real databases, can you insert some test data into the production environment of, right? All these kind of things they are going to ask. So when they ask some certain questions, whatever the points that we have discussed today, exactly answer the same set of points to the to the interviewer also, so that it makes a lot of sense. Got it? Yeah. Okay. So Yeah, please come in. What?
One second.
Yeah.
My name is Dinesh. I joined EPAM around Thursday.
So how do you know my name?
I asked Rajesh
Okay.
to get permission. So I asked you to get permission. Actually, before joining EPAM, I went in Techminder for 10 days. I sent them my resignation mail. They asked to come today to complete some formalities. I asked him, Rajesh, he said to take permission from me.
Okay. So you belong to Java practice?
That's the thing.
Okay. So how much time it will take for you to complete the formalities?
I don't know, but maximum up till 11:30.
11:30 or 12.
Because
So can you come by 12 or how it is like? So is it mandatory to go today itself or can you go afternoon or onwards?
they asked me to come today.
Can't you say to them that I have joined in a new company, so induction is today, so why can't you tell that?
If I say so, they will delay my resignation acceptance.
Oh, okay. So probably, one second, guys. It is also not here.
And this time, but she didn't reply.
Okay, maybe I will speak to her. Okay, so probably you can go with your resignation formalities. It will be done today, right?
I will confirm.
If it is delayed, what? So today is the induction, right? So
I already attended one election on Thursday. Complete as soon as possible. Make it,
okay then. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay.
I will come back as soon as
I'm Srinivas. I'm not Rajesh. Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
I will come back as soon as
Yeah, sure. Please reach out to Shakti if needed.
I also
Messaged her, right? So you probably say you have said that the resignation will be delayed if I'm not going today. So did you send that message also to Shakti?
Yes, I said that they are asking me to come office to complete some formalities so that they can accept my resignation mail.
Okay, fine. Please proceed. If you have a message Shakti, then probably it's fine for me. So maybe I will also talk to her. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. But complete as much as possible and come to the induction.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Sorry guys. So I'm in office today, so probably I came to office today. So okay. So can we start the practicals from tomorrow? So, but before wrapping it up, right? So anyone wanted to discuss about any of the topics? Come on, guys. If you're not asking any questions, I will not be able to.
Sir, one more thing, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we are using this DB Flybase, right? Right, so we migrated DB. We migrated recently our
Don't
DB.
worry about Giridhar. So I will tell you about Flyway migration maybe in our coming lectures also. So
In
for
that, I have only
the
one question. That is,
yeah.
means, if we have any change in our DB structure, also we need to redeploy all our application, right, sir? Our jar.
Basically, Flyway is a data migration tool, Giridhar. Okay, so in our existing application, the real-time project also, I've included some Flyway database scripts. See, let's say you and me are the first persons who are going to start on a fresh project.
Yes, sir.
So let's say we have worked for almost 1 year, and then for the next coming second year, so many people have joined, and they just wanted to, introduce some changes to the backend database tables. They cannot go and right away, change the entities and use DDL auto to update. So they cannot use that kind of flag to. We actually disable that DDL auto by actually specifying it as none, so
Yes,
that none of the tables will be updated or migrated to the new versions. Correct?
yes,
We
sir.
actually do that to avoid database related issues in the production. whatever we do, we need to write database scripts. Let's say if a new person has joined and he just wanted to create a local database tables along with some practical data, right? So he can just run his application, and in the background, the flyway, if there are no tables, probably tables will be created on the first go. And whatever the changes that are done from the past 1 year, all those changes will be still there in his machine, because Flyway is basically a data migration tool which will actually create a lot of versions in the background, and they will not allow any of the developers to change something in the entities, and that should reflect in the database tables. We actually do this to actually avoid lot of updates to the database tables. Everything has to be a script-based execution.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
what happens here? Let's say, Giridhar, I just wanted to say one more thing. Let's say, if you are using this Flyway database migration, that probably what we are going to do, whatever the data that we are going to set to the database tables, right? So columns or whatever it is. So here what happens is we are actually tracking each and every table, columns, their versions, their flow of execution, everything will be done.
Yes, sir.
And if you see the user service, we actually created admin through the API. So we actually create admins through the scripts, not by the API.
Okay.
Okay, so what happens? Let's say if you are going to start user service, but you just wanted to set, test some APIs for the admin role as well as for the user role. So you cannot create records in the database through an API. Got it? So they have to be pre-populated before you run the application. So once the data is ready, you can directly test them, right? It
Yes,
doesn't
sir.
make any sense because here, if you just ask me truly, when you actually create any of the cloud environment related, technologies like AWS, Azure, when you actually create your account, it will actually create the AWS account or Google account, the Google Cloud account or the Azure account with admin related role, right? Because you are the only author for that particular cloud provider usage, right? So probably you are the only admin. So you can create hell number of users with role user type, and then probably you can execute whatever the things that you want from your side. Okay, but we'll see in the upcoming sessions why we need to use that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, but this is a short overcome, and this is why we actually use Flyway, because every table, each and every table, a column has to be,
Right.
updated only through the scripts and not through the application run. Okay.
Okay, sir. Good.
Yeah. And that is the only question that you have.
Yes, sir. Because first, means yesterday when I'm trying with this one, just first I faced issue with this one. Means unknowingly, just I'm running the script and I'm getting user is not there, user is not there. Then I came to know that, okay, just we have migrated our DB, so that's why you're getting. So again, I
Yeah.
created new user and then I tested, sir.
Right. Okay.
Then I thought that, okay, if we change any small modification also in DB side also, then again we need to redeploy our jars or something. Just at the time I
So
got
when the application is going to run, it is going to redeploy the changes. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So PN Rock has one question. So nowadays everyone is using third-party IAM OAuth 2 for security, authentication, and authorization integration instead of self-JWT implementation in the projects. Okay, Priyanka, let me unmute you first. So we actually use, OAuth 2 IAM servers from the cloud providers like AWS, Azure, or G Cloud, right? So when we are using some certain third-party tools or cloud provider tools, probably if you think about this banking applications, right? So banking applications mostly will not go for this kind of security implementations with third-party tools. Okay. banking applications are very secure. So they are just going to use some frameworks or libraries, right, in order to do the security implementation. Got it?
Okay. So the banking side, we'll have to write
Not
our
only
own
the banking
JWT.
side, see, not only the banking side, like stock market applications, right?
Mhm.
So, see, most of the companies do not rely on third-party servers, first of all. They can actually use some databases from the cloud providers. If they don't want to use databases even on the cloud, they are actually going to buy them to their local environment, or they just wanted to set up their infrastructure from the cloud to their offshore development center as well. So there are lots of plans from the cloud providers in order to use them properly according to the situations that they need. It's not something like the cloud is providing the third-party servers with lot of security, even then, right? So some companies will never ever take that help.
Okay, sir. So
They're
I think
just
nowadays the key
because
props is the
see
one
if the security is already implemented properly with lot of steps, right?
Right.
Why they need to go for third-party servers? Their application is still secure with the current services, right? So why do they want to go to the cloud providers, right? So it's not mandatory to go to the cloud providers. It is actually, some bit of, knowledge or the flow that they are actually sticking with.
Yes, so there is one advantage of going to the cloud servers, like for SSO, single sign-on, if they have multiple applications. If they have multiple applications, so one single user will be enough. Like if you create a user on the like cloud, so this user is like authenticated to log into the multiple applications. The company having 10 applications, so instead of having 10 users per single user. So like if you have a cloud authentication server, so like OAuth 2. So this helps you like single sign on. Like once you created one user, so that user will be eligible to log into multiple applications. So that's how the companies are going, sir. Like and like we are trying to implement that as well.
Not some companies, right? Most of the companies will do, but some companies will actually, treat their application services as the right service, because this SSO has a different flow, but companies has to follow some flow, which has to be the proper flow and the right flow to be followed for all their respective services. They cannot rely on these third-party tools. Got it?
Okay.
Yeah. So this is what I was explaining from the start.
Okay, sir.
Okay. See, I completely understand your point, PM Rao, but so let me take some example in order to justify this statement, right? So let's say you are actually going to buy a villa, especially from the My Home Group vendor, which is a builder. Okay. So let's say you don't have to take care of any of the responsibilities, because everything will be done. The interiors design, the kitchen design, the washrooms, the bedroom, the bed related things, the sofa related things, the wall related kind of designs. Everything will be taken care by the my home my home group builders only. But if you just wanted to do some customizations, they will not allow you to do it, because they have actually fixed, let's say the cost of villa that you are going to take from my home group is 2 crores. Okay. According to their budget, they are going to do whatever the things that they just wanted to provide it to you. They will just provide it to you by once you pay 2 crores, you get the villa. But after getting that, can you do any customizations? Yes, you can do customizations, but you need to break something, right?
Yes, sir. So the
You need to
structure,
break
I think
something,
they won't
because
allow
their structure is different, but we don't want that kind of flow. I just wanted a different flow, because it actually provides some extra benefits, especially from the service related things, especially from the company side. right? If they are actually providing some set of flow to the actual people, right? They cannot just blindly go with that, because some people will like the design, some people will not. If they do not like the design, then probably whatever the things that they do, you will not be able to like it at the end, right? So if you just
Right.
wanted to go with the customization approach, you will definitely don't go with the third-party server. But if you just wanted to utilize some APIs which are really good from the third party, you can just utilize those APIs, but you can have your custom UI, not the third-party SSO provided by cloud or, whatever it is, OAuth2 or whatever it is, right?
Okay.
So you can just use some of the APIs and then integrate that particular APIs with your existing service APIs, and then do whatever the customization that you want to do from your side. Okay, it's completely depends upon the situation whether we just wanted to go for the third party servers or whatever it is. Okay.
Right, sir. Like the other company which they have a branch in Hyderabad, so they implement their own security. They don't go to the third party.
Yes, correct. But wherever you go, right? So if you just go to a bank to open your bank account, Aadhaar number is mandatory, and bank will not have this UIDAS server, right?
Right, sir.
They just wanted to use the third party server where all the other details of the persons will be there throughout the India.
Right.
In that particular case, it makes sense because they need to rely on a UIDAS server because it has a hell number of the whole database of the users. In that case, it matters. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, but here they cannot actually, they actually have to use some APIs which will validate the Aadhaar and the person Aadhaar is correct or not. It will just validate those details. For that particular validation, they are actually going to do the validation purpose. They are just going to call an API which will actually validate the Aadhaar number, and it is going to say this Aadhaar is valid and he's the person from India. That's it. This is what it is going to happen, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, only some APIs, not all the APIs we can actually integrate. But if you have some certain scenario based upon the situation, it makes sense. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all I have for today. So probably I will start with the generic and along with mock test cases from tomorrow. Okay, so probably I will meet you tomorrow at the same time. Okay. Have a great day and happy learning. I will meet you tomorrow at the same time. Bye.